So my name is Maddie Scheiderly. I'm a social media intern for the Center for Security Studies and Cyber Defense. And today is Conspiracy. It's our big conference. Yeah. And this is the third episode of our podcast. And I'm here with a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, special guest.
Maddie, thank you. I'm Chris Lowery. I serve as the Commissioner of Higher Education here in Indiana. And I have to add, by the way, very familiar with Anderson University because I grew up about 2 miles from there.
Awesome. So you're familiar with Anderson already.
Very familiar.
Did you graduate from Anderson? Or?
No, I had many friends from high school. I went to what was then Highland High School. I think it's now a middle school, but very familiar with it and had a lot of friends who went there.
Yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm not familiar with Anderson at all.
And all we want you to do is stay when you're done, okay? Stay in Indiana. You might have heard me say that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your job.
Yeah, so I've been in this role for 18 months as Commissioner for Higher Education, and the Commission is it's officially the coordinating body for our public institutions in Indiana, and we have a charge to also work very closely with all the private institutions like Anderson University. There are 7 publics, 29 privates, and as I say, when you look at all of the campuses of all the institutions, we have more institution campuses than we do counties in the state. Primary roles, we set the strategy for higher education in Indiana, thinking about where we're going from an economic standpoint, the impact to our economy, to the social infrastructure that we have in Indiana. Our agency also is the one that has purview over programmatic approvals. So as institutions make changes and want to do new things, they come before us. We review before those things go to the federal government for approval for things like federal financial aid. But then one of the very significant things we do is serve as the administrative body for our state's financial aid. And our portfolio, our agency, the Commission, oversees a portfolio of about $400 million in financial aid annually, which is a pretty big deal. And you might have heard me say earlier, and I'll share with your listeners, it's something most Hoosiers wouldn't know, is that Indiana is first in the Midwest and 5th in the nation in need-based financial aid. So long story short, we very seriously take very seriously the need to provide need-based financial aid to individuals who are seeking higher education training and education.
Awesome. So with this position that you hold in your the work that you do, how does it in any way relate to cybersecurity? Because that's our whole thing, Yeah,
it is the whole thing. So part of what we do, a big part of what we're doing through higher education and our agency is really first trying to drive more students as they, for example, exit high school to universities and colleges, because we know that the outcomes for individuals, it's just a statistical thing, improve, whether it's economically, socially, improve as a person attains higher levels of education. And so whether that's a certificate or a bachelor's degree or a PhD, outcomes are just better. Mm-hmm. So part of our mission is to get more people than have been going to some form of training or education beyond high school. And that comes back to cybersecurity in just a second. Also improving the completion rates, Not every student who goes to college completes. And we have a serious emphasis because that's really critical. We don't want students spending thousands of dollars and then not having the credential that gets them ahead in the marketplace. But then also, which is why I was saying this to you, you're from Pennsylvania, I want you to stay, okay? Let me be very clear. We need more of the students who are graduating from our institutions here in Indiana to stay put. This is a great state. I think it's the best state in the nation, so stay, would you? And so how that relates to cybersecurity, part of what we're doing is working with our institutions, working with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, working with employers, right? So including in information technology, computer science, cybersecurity, to look at the talent pipeline. And much of our focus, like every day, is to say, are we creating the talent pipeline that's necessary for the employers that are here today and the employers that are going to be here tomorrow and into the future? And as you well know, because of your area of study and your area of focus here, cybersecurity is one of those areas where the demand is only going to continue to grow. And the labor market today in the United States, even more so in Indiana, is very tight. The supply just isn't meeting the demand. And then when you look at something like cybersecurity, it's even tighter. Yeah. So when I was asked, hey, would you come and talk with this group? I said, so first recognize I know almost nothing about cybersecurity.
I don't either. Full disclosure, I'm a film major, actually.
Oh, okay, well, great.
But I work as a social media intern, so I've been around cybersecurity long enough to like cybersecurity and education within that to like get a good grip on it, but it's not like my background or anything. I do have a history minor though.
Oh,
so that could.
I think it could weave in. You and I should talk about that. I think that weaves in. But I think your role is really important because you're helping to tell the story, right, to other students, people in business, and so forth, why this is so important that we've got to build a supply of individuals because this is a major need for our economy. So that's how what we do at the Commission relates to that. We try to think very distinctly about the key economic sectors of Indiana, whether that's manufacturing or healthcare or IT or ag bioscience or the bioscience sides, and then emerging industries in Indiana, whether that's hydrogen or EV and all of those types of things. But really, if you think of it sort of horizontally and ubiquitously to all of that, cybersecurity has a presence, right? So whether you're government or a private company or whether you're a philanthropic organization or just an individual, cybersecurity is something about which you have to be very aware and vigilant. And so then again, back to what we do at the Commission in working with the public and private institutions, we have to have a focus on creating that talent pipeline, all the way from, young kids in elementary and primary school up through high school and then into, training and education beyond high school in order to, make sure that we're addressing what is a growing challenge. People are hacked all the time. We see the stories almost on a daily basis, right? And so that's how our role fits in.
Yeah. And I guess you just answered my next question after that was going to be how important is like cybersecurity, like education, especially in K-12 institutions. So you just answered that question, I guess. If you want to add anything about that, you can, because with the government greenlighting all these initiatives to get cybersecurity education in the hands of younger and younger children, I know it's extremely important. It's not my background, but I know it's extremely important because I've seen it so many times while I've been reporting it. So. Yeah,
exactly. You've seen it, as you said, so many times. I was so impressed earlier today meeting other attendees of this conference. This conference is by the way, amazing. I wish I could have participated in the whole thing. But I met a woman who, I probably shouldn't even say her name. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But she's with the National Security Agency, the NSA, and works at NSA headquarters. And her role is to lead the K-12 side of what they do. I think that's fascinating that the NSA has a focus on thinking about, I assume, that talent pipeline all the way back to kindergarten, first and second grade. We have a 4-year-old granddaughter, and I see her interaction with technology already compared to mine. And I know in a year or two, as I acquire new technology devices, I'm probably going to be turning to Eloise and saying, would you help Poppy with this, right? Because she'll be so much smarter with it and so forth. And that's good because, she'll be adept at it. And I think that focus to say, hey, how do we help younger people, whether it's in kindergarten and first grade or 11th and 12th grade, think about these careers because, things, the most basic of which is the internet have been just part of all of your lives for all of your life. Yeah. I'm 61. It hasn't been, right?
Yeah. Even like I'm 21. I'll be 22 in November. But even still, like technology is like nearly not. It wasn't as nearly as advanced as it is now when I was a kid. I remember.
Oh, absolutely. So, you didn't have ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Right. And some of those, artificial intelligence tools. And by the way, I also I was talking about it earlier in the presentation. And I've got ChatGPT on my phone now, and sort of exploring around with it. But I really think we'll look up in 5 or 10 years. You and I will get together and have this conversation again. How's that? Would you do that?
Yeah.
And I think we'll look at it and we'll go, "Wow, that was so basic. It was so just fundamental at the time that we'll not even imagine how AI is going to impact our lives." And I think ultimately positively. I know it scares some people, but I think ultimately we'll just find such great benefits in the advancements it'll help us make.
Yeah. one last question. We'll wrap up, and it's not related to cybersecurity at all. It's actually like a sillier one, just to
I like silly questions.
Get you breakdowns. Do you watch professional wrestling?
You know what? I don't, but I did as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was like 8, 10, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Growing up on the east side of Anderson. Yeah. I watched it on Channel 4.
Did you? So you know how professional wrestlers, they'll have like a walkout song.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, if you were a professional wrestler, what would your walkout song be? I've gotten some good answers. Director Brandon Wales said that his walkout song would be Enter Sandman. And then Mr. Togashi said his would be Survivor by Journey. So you've got some tough competition. How are you going to one-up these guys?
Those are good. So I may not look like it, but I'm a runner. I have been for almost 25 years. And so I've got Spotify and playlists and some that make me run faster and so forth. So 2 songs I would think of is Jump by Van Halen.
Yeah.
Great song. If you're like getting ready for a marathon or half marathon, just, it pumps you up. Jump. That'd be a great one for me. And the other one, just like my favorite group of all time, is Earth, Wind and Fire. And the song Fantasy. Just I literally have had some personal PRs listening to that song. So there you go. I wouldn't be much of a, kind of a scrawny wrestler, but there you go. That'd be my walkout.
Yeah, those are good picks. I told Mr. Wales that since I'm from Pennsylvania, I live actually an hour north of Pittsburgh, so go Steelers. But our fourth quarter song, they play it in between every down, like during the fourth quarter, is Renegade by Styx. So that's a good one. And then I changed my mind while I was talking to Mr. Togashi, and I said, I'm a huge Prince fan, so I think Let's Go Crazy would also be a good choice. And now I'm overthinking it again. I think another good choice. Do you know Vehicle by the Ides of March?
I don't.
You gotta look that song up. That's a good song. It's very brassy, like big band type stuff. Very 70s.
Okay.
But it's either that one or I'm a huge Def Leppard fan. I've been a Def Leppard fan ever since I was a kid because my aunt was like, carried around a boombox everywhere. So I would either do that one or I would do, what's a good Def Leppard one? I like Photograph. That's not very like high energy, but like that's a good one. Or Let's Get Rocked if we want really high energy.
I like that too, and I like high energy songs. So by the way, I'm glad you asked that. My Spotify list looked pretty odd because I have everything on there from classic rock to R&B. Rap, country music. I know people think like, what's your musical taste? And I really like up-tempo, upbeat music.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good choice. Good music.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah. I'd want to wrap this up super quick. I know it's lunchtime, and I know you want to eat. You must be super hungry. I know I'm pretty hungry.
Yeah,
but
let's go eat.
Yeah, thanks for sitting in on this podcast. Thanks for being patient with us as we do this. It was a great honor to have you here.
It was my honor to be here. Yeah. This is a blast. I get to do this work. You know? This is great.
And if you stay for the rest of Conspiracy, check out the escape room. I know we've got that. There's some other speakers that we've got going on today. So, awesome.
It'll be awesome. Well, thanks for having me here. And,
thank you so much.
Thanks for doing this event.